Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, Noodle here, and we're on day something. That's the official day. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Pig still hasn't grown up, so that's okay. We're still collecting stuff. But today what we're going to do is, oh sweet, I forgot about that. Haha. Oh, here I am getting distracted. Today what we're gonna do is we're gonna grow this brown mushroom. We're doing it, people. I think the room that we're growing mushrooms in has to be bigger. I'm like 99% sure that's the problem. So yeah. So let's get the sword out. Do we have a brown mushroom? I think actually it's still down there. So let's make our way down there. And since we're going down, let's check the mob trap. Actually, you know what? We're not gonna do that. This is gonna be horrible because I think this has to be 4 away from everything. I could very well be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think this entire room has to be pushed out this far. Oh, what a world, what a world, what a world. So things are going pretty well for me, I guess. It's really late at night. The kids are sleeping. They're past the point of no return, basically. Every night we have to play this game where I stay up until like fucking midnight because they want to get up and play in the middle of the night. But the littlest one, who is going through his terrible twos, and boy are they terrible, he's the one who usually instigates the playing. Well, he's sick, so which means I'm probably going to get sick here pretty soon. But the good thing about him being sick is that he's less active, so he doesn't really want to play. He just kind of wants to sit in his own misery. So yeah, so that actually helps out the household. The fact that our child is plagued by some illness. I know that sounds horrible, but if there are any parents out there, I mean, you understand. You're like, oh, my kid's sick. Oh, I'm going to sleep easy tonight. At least so far. It's not like throwing up sickness. I think he's just got a cold or something. You know, weather changes and blah, blah, blah. But enough about kids. Enough about kids. I also, while I'm uploading all these videos and making new videos and blah, 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 I'm also watching a movie, kind of as we speak. It's called Season of the Witch, and it has Nicolas Cage in it. I know, not a lot of Nicolas Cage fans out there, especially after the Ghost Rider thing. Or you're too young and you only know Nicolas Cage from 2 movies. And those 2 movies were more likely to be Kick-Ass, which I have to say, he was pretty kick-ass in. And, no pun intended, seriously. And the other ones are like the National Treasure movies, which I guess Disney made those. So I kind of feel bad for you because you don't know classic Nicolas Cage. You only know the crap that came out like Ghost Rider. And now I'm not going to sit here and defend Nicolas Cage's honor like I do Kurt Russell. He is by no means no Kurt Russell. However, he has had a very extensive career, and you know, one that really deserves praise. Oh yeah, that worked out great. Okay, so we can go ahead and scratch another thing off the list. Grow a giant brown mushroom. Check. Okay, anyway, he has by no means had this amazing career, but a lot of his early work is absolutely fantastic. He really deserves, like, because people are like, he's a crap actor. How is he in so many movies? Well, believe it or not, there was a point in his life where he wasn't a crappy actor. where he actually, like, the Nicolas Cage stuff, that the stereotype that everybody makes fun of him, like, that was still fresh. Like, that was young. Um, those of you out there older than like 20, which I don't know how many of my subscribers there are that are older than 20, but anybody really should check out the movie Bringing Out the Dead. It is an older movie. It is going to be hard for you to find. No lie. I don't know if it's on Netflix or not. But Bringing Out the Dead is my favorite Nicolas Cage movie, hands down, without a doubt. Ooh, I hear zombies. I hear lots of zombies and skeletons. Ooh, and spiders. Oh my. Like they're starting a riot in there. Oh, look at this. This is amazing. Amazing. Besides the fact that they blew a hole in my floor. That's alright. You know what? Nothing can be perfect. Nothing can be perfect. We can only get close, people. We can only get close. And I'm fairly certain that they blew out a portion of the ceiling since most of it was dirt. Yep. Oh, it's so much darker and creepier in here. Go ahead and replace that. I kind of want a fountain to bring me shit, but you know what, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Anyway, oh my god, we got such bounty. Such bounty. 8 more gunpowder, a lot more bones. You know what this means, people? This means we can start getting flowers. Alright. Let's celebrate for flowers. Anyway, so Bringing Out the Dead, one of my favorite Nicolas Cage films, hands down. Just a quick summary. No spoiler alerts. No spoiler alerts. Basically, he's an ambulance driver, and he kind of went through a traumatic experience where he lost one of his patients, and he lost one of his patients because, like, I don't know. I studied a little bit of medicine, and you know, for anybody out there who study any kind of shit, God damn, that kind of sucks. I need to figure out a way to get up there. For anybody who's studied any kind of medicine, or knows basic human biology, none of this should come as a surprise to you. But I know for some, it will. Here we go. Oh crap! Ow. The basic human biology is that when we breathe, you know, we breathe down our nose, or you know, through our nose. But we also, like, it goes down the same tube as our food does. I know, amazing, right? That's crazy. The esophagus, I think, yeah, that's what it's called. The esophagus basically is like one big tube, but splits up into two. Well, when you're a medic and you are trying to, you know, get somebody to breathe on their own, you put a tube down their throat and you basically pump their lungs full of air. They don't really do that anymore. CPR works just as well, but I mean, you don't have to be leaning over somebody. You don't have to be breathing in on them. It's just an easier thing. I mean, you all have seen like the ER shows and all that, where they essentially have. Oh, I knew this was gonna happen. Should I even bother with that? I'm debating this. Where they essentially have like a plastic tube, plastic mask that goes over your face with a little pump on it that they can just push, and you know, you start breathing. It basically forces air down your throat. Okay, for those of you who nodded your head and acknowledged what I'm talking about, it's basically that thing, but just on a more barbaric level. Anyway, he was putting said tube down this girl's throat because she was ODing, and you know, she didn't make it. He kept putting it down the wrong tube. He wasn't getting it in her lungs. He was getting it in her stomach, pumping her stomach full of air, which doesn't do anything but make you burp. But you know, it's most certainly not getting oxygen to, you know, her brain. So he feels guilty about this, and so he kind of goes on this roller coaster ride of like guilt and doubt about his abilities as a paramedic. And I do have to say that it's amazing. Like, they have a ton of actors in there, people that you've seen. Like, I know off the top of my head, I keep wanting to say it's John Candy. It's not John Candy. It's John Goodman. John Goodman's in there. He plays an amazing actor. I don't know. There's a bunch of people in there that that you'd be like, wow, I didn't even know that you were still alive. Like, then they were. Then they were alive. Now it's a toss-up. Now people could very well be dead. But I highly suggest everyone check it out. Great movie, great movie. Once again, it's called Bringing Out the Dead. It has Nicolas Cage in it. You can probably look up his video history and pick it up. And like I said, check out his older stuff. And we can get to know that Nicolas Cage is actually a really good actor. He just kind of gets put into roles that are meant for Nicolas Cage, and therefore he comes out really cheesy. But I mean, if you saw him in Kick-Ass, you should know that he can be a very awesome actor. Alright. Getting our roses. Getting our roses. Ah. But yeah, so I'm watching Season of the Witch. It's actually pretty good. Pretty good. I saw it on Netflix. It was one of those movies where you look at it and you're like, oh god, not another Nicolas Cage movie. And then like you kind of pass it up. But this time I actually stopped and I actually looked at it. And yeah, it's actually not bad. I don't really get into religion here. You might hear me say like, oh Jeebus, or oh my gods, or something like that. Because, you know, you don't talk religion and you don't talk politics and you don't talk something else with people because they get all offended. But I will say this, I'm pagan. Witchcraft, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it. You're going to call it whatever you want. You're going to have your own opinion, don't care. But every time it comes into movies where they're like, oh, she's a witch, and then they portray her as like some devil worshiper, I don't get offended. I kind of feel sad that people still think that way. I mean, come on, it's 20th century, but this movie he's portrayed in the Crusades, and I have to put myself in the context of, okay, during the Crusades, you know, anybody who was weird or different was a witch, and, you know, they kind of burned at the stake and all that stuff. For as crappy as all that is, yeah, the first time they said witch, I'm just like, whatever. And then, like, they go on, and you're like, wow, like, this bitch is fucking crazy. Like, maybe she is a witch. Maybe Nicolas Cage ought to kill this bitch. So, yeah, I got into it. And like I said, I don't get offended. I just kind of get sad when they misportray pagan stuff to fit the... and this is going to sound kind of bad, but, I mean, for those of you who are taking this as it is and not as an insult or anything... They use it to fit the giant Christian market, which is the United States. So they have to kind of make things catered to that religious background, so that way people have an understanding of what they're trying to get across. Like, for example, I really liked Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I didn't read the book, don't ask me, I don't read. But I did see the movie, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. It was a cool concept. Kind of made me want to read the book, but then that requires reading, and I'm not a big fan. But what killed me and what annoyed me was when the kids went down to Hades, and this is no spoiler alert, like, at all, like, just watch the movie. When they go down to Hades, you know, they have to bargain with the ferryman, and I'm like, okay, they're kind of mixing up mythology, kind of a little bit, but not too much. And then they go down to Hades, and they portray Hades as the devil, and they portray... you know, they portray the underworld as hell, and I was just kind of annoyed by that, because the underworld wasn't hell. The underworld wasn't like a place of torture and suffering. I mean, it had that too, but it wasn't like its primary function. The underworld was a place where dead people go. All dead people, whether you were a good person or a bad person or indifferent, you went to Hades. Like, and anybody out there who's like, no, you don't, you go to Valhalla. Jesus Christ, learn your religions, people. But I was like, yeah, that's, I don't know, it irked me to think that, something as cool as, the afterlife could just be portrayed as hell. But I understood where they were going with it. You can't really portray, that as, you can't really portray that as like, oh, everybody goes here, because you need like a heaven and hell kind of a good versus evil aspect to movies. So I understand. I understand. Um, but, oh, do we have it? Do we have it? Oh, no. But we got enough yellow flowers. Oh, yeah, we could check off another thing. I know that was a little boring for everybody. I'm trying to get all these red flowers, and I'm trying to keep conversation a little interesting, and if anything, a little educational. Not that I think everybody needs an education, but you know what I mean. Gonna go ahead and make my bread here. So anyway, as I was stating, so yeah, for somebody who not take offense to these kinds of movies or anything like that, but yeah, sometimes the movies kind of cross the line. I'm like, well, you probably should have done a little bit of research. I think what irks me, since we're on the topic, and this will probably be the last time I talk like this. I think what irks me is the people who, they rally and they try to, oh, look, yay, it's spread. Whoa, my mushroom farm works, kind of. I'm going to put you back. Are like the people who rally against like money. Like, for those of you who aren't American, and for some of you who are and just don't pay attention, our money has printed on it, "In God We Trust." Our Pledge of Allegiance says, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all." Now, because everything says under God, people have thrown a conniption fit. Like, they're suing the school boards, and they're trying to get, everything changed. And that is really just unnecessary. That's unnecessary. I've never, ever once had a problem with it. And I always thought the people that did were just kind of ignorant. It's like, they want to have this big thing of like, oh, you need to quit shoving your religion in my face. But it's like, now you're like trying to shove their religion out of their face. The freedom of religion in America is this really tricky, slippery slope that once you start picking sides, it's kind of hard to go back on. I've always just been under the impression of, hey, you know what? I worship what I want, you worship what you want. As long as we're not trying to kill each other or we're trying to take away each other's right to worship whatever we want, then, all's well that ends well. I've had friends of many different faiths. We used to joke because when we were deployed to Afghanistan, I was with a Jew, an atheist, and agnostic. Me being pagan, and then like this really hardcore Christian, and then a Muslim, or not Muslim, a Mormon. And that's not including our translators, who were basically our best friends there, and they were Muslim. We all got along fine, and we would sit outside and have huge religious debates, not arguments, debates. Somebody would bring up an interesting subject like, oh, what if, this happened, and then we would all say what our own individual religions would do. And then we would argue back and forth, but it would never get heated. It would never, become personal, because at the end of the day, we're like, okay, well, we're not trying to change anybody's religion. We're just having a nice, interesting debate. It really kind of opened my eyes to that, and I kind of feel saddened for the people who don't have that experience. Not that I think everybody should get deployed to Afghanistan or anything like that. To serve one's country in the military is your own decision, unless, it's like you're recruited by your country automatically like a draft. I know some countries still do that. But what I think I mean is that people get exposed to all kinds of people. When I was in the military, and one of the best things I can say about the military is that I got exposed to people from all walks of life, from all over the world, all over the United States, and I got to see the way different people live their lives. And it was kind of an eye-opener. So now when I come back home, people are still arguing about the same petty crap they've been arguing about since I left. And it's like, dude, seriously, just grow. 13 gunpowder. Oh, this is going to take a while. But at least we got our 30 reeds. I'm excited about that. Enderpearls. Enderpearls, we have 2. Sadly, we need 18 more. We need to make 15 bread. We have 5. But things are kind of coming along. Oh, and we have one string, one lonely string. It's gonna be a long time before we get all types of wool. Jesus. But I think we went ahead and we made the brown mushroom, and we went ahead and collected 20 yellow flowers, and we are well on our way to getting the 20 roses. And we have 20 cacti so far. I'm thinking about once we get the roses, I'm going to take all that plot land that we were just out on, that stuff out there, and I'm going to go ahead and extend the cactus farm out there. I think we just need to spread that out. But yeah, oh god, the crackheads are looking at me. Look at that. I think that's going to be the end of the conversation for today. I kind of touched on some touchy stuff. I apologize if I've offended anybody. But you know, freedom of speech of all. Yeah, like I said, it'll probably be the last time I say anything about that. Maybe. I don't know. I can't promise nothing. But what I will say is, as an ending thing to today's little topic and discussion, is I think before anybody gets offended or anybody, you know, starts feeling that, you know, they're getting persecuted against or that the world's out to get them, I think maybe they need to take a step back and, you know, take in a deep breath and just realize that, hey, you know what? It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. I mean, unless a motherfucker's going to blow up your face or something, then, you know, that might be a bit threatening. But for the most part, I say everybody just chill, everybody relax. We all have a good time. And guess what? The sun's up. I went ahead and talked for 20-something minutes about something a little bit more better than my kids and maybe a little bit more interesting than planting seeds. So yeah, hope you all learned something, if not about life, about me, and yeah, who knows, maybe the lesson will continue, maybe it won't. I'm not going to be a preacher, I'm not going to shove stuff in your face. Next time we come back, what we're going to do is we're going to try to get some more bones, and if we can, we're going to go ahead and knock out the make 15 breads, because we only need 10 more. And we're going to try and knock out getting the last of the roses. I think we only need 7 more. I'm not close enough to mine. 4 more. Ooh, we're so close. Spread out the cactus farm. I still can't find the disc. I still have to make a cake. I still have to breed the pigs more. And wool. God, this is going to take forever. But okay. Until next time, everybody. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I love you all. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. Laters.